It's weird. You do it from the same spot every time. I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. We're in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, through the technical difficulties, welcome back to the LFGM podcast. Let's fucking go Mets. In case anybody's missed out on, the last month of New York Mets baseball, it's been a shit show, I think is an appropriate word. The Mets are 5-12 in the month of August. I think the offense has been the most infuriating thing in the world. It seems to have gotten the attention of our GM, Zach Scott. It seems to have gotten the attention of the owner, Steve Cohen, and his Twitter fingers. And, maybe it lights a fire under the ass of some of these players. Matt, how you doing, buddy boy?
Oh, we're doing all right. Was able to go to my first game last week.
How was it?
It was good. It was the opener, the Friday night opener against the Dodgers. So it was packed bobblehead night, which I got there early for a tailgate, like hours beforehand. People were lined up through the park.
People love bobblehead night. People love bobblehead.
I walked in right at game time and I got one, so I don't know what that means at all. But it was a cool bobblehead. But geez, people are fucking psychos about those things. They're crazy.
Yep. Yeah, people love bobblehead. People actually, you know what? People love free stuff and people love bobbleheads. And when you put the two together, I think it's just a lethal combination of like asshole New Yorkers who want free stuff that you already paid for with your ticket, and you want the bobblehead because then you can sell it for $60 on Facebook Marketplace or some shit like that.
Yeah, dude. So we were at the game. A buddy of mine went on eBay. Halfway through the game, around fourth or fifth inning, they already had you could tell they took a picture in the stadium of the bobblehead, put it up on eBay, and we're selling for $40-$50 already.
Isn't that crazy? Pays for your ticket.
It's nuts. And I get it because it was like a collab with Marvel too, the Pete Alonso had bobble.
Nice.
So it was like you had comic book geeks in there too, just scooping them up.
It's like when they do, and this is one of my favorite days, but it's like when they have the Star Wars Day on May the 4th.
Yeah, those are big too. So I get the collabs a little bit more. It's just a different world than I'm used to. But I mean, the amount of fans in that stadium, I'm shocked I even got one. It was packed. It was loud. It was great atmosphere. I wanted to ask you this too, because the fan experience of going to a game. You've been to a few games already.
Yeah, I've been to two.
Yeah, this was my first one. It was one of those 90-degree days too, where it's very humid. Like my shirt was just sticking to me, so it wasn't. Even at night, it was bad. I waited 20 minutes for a water. I waited 20 minutes for a beer. I tried to get a beer and a water at the same place. Guy was like, "We're sold out of water." The average age of customer service people there were trying the hardest, but 65. Yeah. And I'm just they don't even have the employees to be doing this right now.
Right.
It was pretty bad in my opinion.
What section were you in?
I had great seats. I was in 134, I think, left field.
Yeah, so I was going to say, usually in the hundreds, you get better service than, up in the fives.
It was bad.
When I went, I will say, I didn't go to I didn't wait in line for food. I didn't wait in line for the beers. I saw a guy who was because this is before they had the people walking down the aisles come back, the vendors, I guess. But it was a guy who had a push cart, selling beers in the push cart, and there was no line. So I went up, I got 2 beers, and I went right back. And I didn't buy food there. Because it was a 4 o'clock game, and we ate before and we ate when we left. That was my first game. The second game, nobody. So I got 2 more coming up here. I got one against the Giants, and then I got one coming up against the Nats. I'm going, I want to say the 24th and 28th, something like that. So I don't know what to expect with the crowds, on this upcoming homestand, because of how poor the team has played and how it almost we have this weird dynamic of owner and front office calling out the team, and Rojas kind of stuck in the middle, and people are calling for Rojas's head. They weren't doing that when they were 10 games above 500, and you had a quadruple A lineup. So I mean, at some point you got to hold the players accountable. This can't just all fall on him, right?
Well, yeah, let's talk about that to begin with too, because we could talk about the players not hitting forever. We have the past 5 episodes probably.
Right. Or you could go on Twitter and fucking see it from everybody and the brother.
Yeah, and that's the easy way out. And people have been like really coming for Rojas' head, and that to me I really don't understand. And people probably aren't going to agree with this at all. I think he's done an above average job.
Yeah.
I don't think, and I've said this before on podcasts, like I don't think he is going to be able to do anything by creating a different kind of lineup. The guys he has are the guys that he needs to play. It is what it is in terms of position players. He's done a hell of a job in managing the bullpen. I haven't even agreed with any of those. There's been some things with situations I haven't agreed with, but it's worked out. He's been masterful with that because he's had to think about it from the 5th inning on in most cases.
Right. That doesn't make it easy.
It's crazy impressive that he has done that, and the pitching has been above average for giving the situation, right? Because barely any of our starters get out of the 5th inning at this point.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's just how it's come to be. Yet we're in most games, and it's always a 1-run game, and it's always under 5 runs. You know what I mean for the total. Like it's just, and he has to get some credit for that. And I think it shows that you don't know what you're talking about if you bash him.
Yeah, I think what people want is they want like, a rah-rah speech. They want like a Rex Ryan performance out of Luis Rojas. Like, dude, you're in the wrong sport if you want that. When was the last time a manager gave a fucking rah-rah speech in baseball? Like, you want Lou Piniella to go out there? Like, Lou Piniella hasn't coached in 2 decades. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not how the game is played anymore. It's not how it works. And what happens if he gives the rah-rah speech and nothing changes? He looks like a fucking jackass. So, I agree with you on, I think the bullpen, because of how many innings they've pitched, it's become really quite difficult to be put in that situation as a manager and to be like, Jesus, like, here we go again. And like, you have to have faith in your guys, and you have to, at some point that you have to hope that they're going to turn it around. And I think that's just kind of like where we're at right now. It's like a hope. It's almost like a wait and see type mentality. I will say 2 people that are, holding their own right now. It's freaking Pete Alonso has been unreal here in the second half. And Conforto's gotten hot here, and the team has done nothing. So it's weird because this goes back to what we were saying earlier. I'll give you one more weird stat. Since July 21st, so today's August 19th. So we're talking about a month. They've only scored more than 5 runs twice. So that comes down to situational hitting. That comes down to, like the Dodgers in that game you went to, they sack-flied us to death. And I know JD
team does
fly yesterday, but hey, that was to score our first run of the game in the 9th inning.
I know.
So we gotta have a better, approach, and it's not just one person. It's a team game, These guys got to start stringing some hits together. And we said early on in the year they were going to have to like grind it out and claw it out. Like, they shouldn't have to do that right now with the lineup that they have. It just feels like it's a lot of individuals going up there and taking hacks, and it's not, really a team performance, and it's not, it's just not working out right now. It makes you really question, what's going to happen this offseason.
Well, yeah, listen, I don't care if they hit 400 the rest of the way and somehow get into the playoffs. What we do know for the offseason is that this offense needs to be changed and guys need to go, and we need to bring in some guys.
Yep.
Regardless of how they perform the rest of the way. Regardless if Conforto hits 400, 500 the rest of the way, we got to reevaluate if that's what we want as someone who's so hot and cold that he just disappears for a month or so at a time. And it's like, can we afford that with the other hitters?
You become unreliable. It's sad because he's super talented, but you can't go a month with that, doing just about nothing and then turn on the switch and even your numbers out. God, it's got to be like, I'm sure this is not the best analogy, but it's the first one that comes to mind. This has got to be how Yankee fans feel about Giancarlo Stanton sometimes. And it's pretty frustrating, to watch. I would say, on the Conforto and free agency thing, you got to qualify him, right? Just so that if he leaves, you're compensated as a team. I would think that would be, management's approach there, but who knows? I mean, they have money to play with this offseason, which is really intriguing. But, I'm more focused on this division right now. I still don't think it's a long shot. The Mets are 60-60. They're 4.5 games out of first place. The Braves got hot, okay? I was in Saratoga this past weekend with a bunch of Philly fans, and they can't stand the team. Well, they like Harper. They like Real Muto. They can't stand Aaron Nola. They like Zach Wheeler. That's about it. They're like, everybody else can go. It's crazy. The Phillies are 1 game above us. They're 61-59. We're 60-60. The Braves got hot here. The Braves are 65-56. We're 4.5 behind the Braves. The Braves have a really difficult schedule coming up. So, things are going to even out, and it's going to be a tight fucking race here down the stretch. We got 42 games left. We were talking about this a little bit. If they can play 5 games over, if you got to play to get to 87 wins, they would have to go 26-16.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even worry about the wins too much. It's just getting to first place because these other guys, especially if we're going to play these other teams like Philly and the Braves down their stretch, you just got to beat them. It's a fairly simple concept. I don't know if I have I have way less faith than I did a week or two ago even. And it's just like the inconsistencies of our hitters. I don't know if that's ever going to go away. Like we said, even with a guy like Conforto, he probably will do better somewhere else. Like, if he was on a team like, say, the Dodgers, right, and he had this slump, they could hide him away towards the back of the lineup a little bit. They have other guys that pick these other hot and cold guys up. We don't have those hitters, right? We have, right now, Pete is as good as it gets for us, and he's a power guy, right? We don't have someone like a Justin Turner who's just gonna, who's gonna go 2 for 4 with a double every game until these other guys get it going. We don't have that. Honestly, the closest thing to that at this point is a guy we almost traded in J.D. Davis. Jeff McNeil, probably not a starter at this point. That's how I look at it.
Where's he been? What happened to him, dude? What has happened to Jeff McNeil? Oh, man, he batted .350 that first half of the season. Was that 2019? It had to be, right? He was unbelievable. He came back and turned into this power guy, and I feel like we've never seen that .350 hitter since. And that's so sad to me because that is a lost art, man. He was just get on base, slap the ball around.
Someone told him not to do that anymore, right? Right, we got to agree. Unless he saw the numbers of guys that hit for power and like what they're getting paid, but something happened where I saw a tweet where it's like he's got an identity crisis as a hitter, and he does. He's become so pull happy. He's becoming a guy where, I mean, listen, he was trending because people think he should be a utility guy that should play 2 to 3 days a week, and I agree at this point. Yeah. Because you have to show some consistencies as a hitter, and he has gone from one of our most consistent in 2019 to our least consistent now. And it sucks, you're right, but even more so than any of the hitting. I was thinking about this, like what other teams have, and I keep going back to teams like the Dodgers, and you know, the Dodgers
Single
are,
good teams. They're good teams. Of course, you're going to go to them.
but all of these good teams also have like a huge veteran presence where it's not, it's a realistic leadership. What
Yeah.
we have Pete is a good leader and stuff because he's very positive. I think Jake going down, Jake's more of a
Lindor.
leader than people think because he just goes out and he's a no excuses kind of guy like a Max Scherzer, same thing, right? I think he's just missed just as much in the clubhouse because he's a no bullshit kind of
Yeah,
guy.
I
It's
think
like
you could say
do
the
your
same
job
about
and that's it.
Yeah, you could say the same about Francisco Lindor too. The team was 47 and 40.
I disagree with that though. He's so happy-go-lucky. You need, in my opinion,
You
a
don't
guy
think
that's
he was holding people accountable at the same time though, as a
both,
happy-go-lucky
though.
guy?
I mean, I know he was holding himself accountable, and that's great. But he's a very listen. You need positivity, and I get it. But between him and Stroman and all these other guys that are like positivity, positivity, I don't know. I want a guy like
Well,
Max
I don't know if you
Scherzer.
saw this.
I
Stroman
want,
kind of lost it the other day too.
yeah, he had a little fit like a baby.
Yeah, with
It's
Steve
like
Gelbs. Like, come
it's
on, man.
different.
You just pitched your ass off. He made an unbelievable play on that bunt. And
It's
then
different.
you want to throw a hissy fit after the game when Steve Gelbs asks you a
Yeah.
question? Come on,
Yeah,
man.
I know. That's what we need to look at going forward. These guys are very talented. Like all of our guys on this roster, if they don't do well for us, they're going to do well somewhere else. Whether
Yeah.
it's a Stroman, a Dom Smith, they're going to do well. They're going to do fine, but they're not ready to field all of these leadership questions like,
Yeah. That's fair.
Lindor is, like DeGrom is. You see how DeGrom handles everything, like with what he's gone through with no run support, and then to see Stroman act like that after the one
Yep.
start he finally gets out of the fifth inning, I'm just like that throws me off and makes me rethink about paying him.
No, it's
And
fair. It's fair.
it's like, what would guys like Max Muncy do? What would a guy like Justin Turner do? Max Scherzer? You see the way they answer questions and stuff and talk to the other guys in the clubhouse just by noticing how they are. You can even watch a game, see how they are in the dugout, and it's night and day how our guys are. And our guys are still young, and the immaturity shows a little bit, and it's showing now. And in my opinion, that's as big as anything. And we need some guys in here that are really, bulldog mentality, Lance Lynn style, like no bullshit, no excuses, like no, it's not good. It's not good. Like positivity is great until you lose 5 in a row. Then it's like, snap out of it.
Yep. I would say, I would say, I think there's another. It's weird because it's not on that leadership level, but another person that has done that this year was JD Davis. When he was having his throwing issues at third base, he owned it, right? And then he went to the IL and he was gone for a while and he's come back and he's hit and he's answered every question. And remember, he was coming back and people were questioning him playing third base. And has he had an error over there since he's been back? I can't remember. Thought he's been pretty good over there.
The fact, and let's be real about this too, people are wondering like, man, why didn't we go for Chris Bryant? That wouldn't have changed much either. It just wouldn't have, because like getting rid of JD Davis should not have been the first priority for this team, right? We have so many holes and inconsistencies everywhere else. That's a guy that he gets beat by the fastball a decent amount. It'll drive you crazy, but all these guys do. But contact and 5-6 pitch at bats, he's one of the few that does that on this team. I got to give him a pass.
Yep, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I think he's come back from the IL and he's taken over, and he's just been consistent, which almost nobody else on this team can say. I would, and I saw this the other day too. The Cubs looked at our farm system and they didn't value any of our top tier guys. And they said, we're going to need 2 for Chris Bryant. There's no way that this is going to work. And so
Smart on the Mets.
Talks went straight to Javi Baez too. By the way, Javi Baez, where you been, bud? Feel like he's been on the 10-day IL for 20 days. What's going on there?
That'll go down as one of the not one of the greater, smarter moves for the Mets.
And Steve Cohen's talking about having a more disciplined approach. I mean, you couldn't have a bigger disconnect with Javi Baez then, because this dude will swing at everything.
That's what's frustrating, man. That's what's frustrating. And that's something. You want to talk about leadership, we could talk about what the GM and I love Alderson, what they did. Exactly like you said. You want to discipline. Well, go get a mid-tier disciplined hitter that hits 260 but crushes fastballs that you're going to play 3 times a week. That'll be better than what we did for Javi Baez. I'm sorry, man. Like, he's exciting, he's great, but there's going to be so many frustrations, especially if we re-sign him over the next 3 or 4 years. All of our hitters, you just got one more hitter that does the same thing as everyone else, which is chase shitty pitches. And the amount of our guys, he doesn't really get beat by fastballs too much, but some of these guys guessing on off-speed.
They're all guess hitters.
That's got to stop. That's got to stop. Oh my God. VR yesterday.
By the way, if he gets picked off one more fucking time, I'm gonna lose my shit. He's been picked off 7 times this year.
Yeah.
That's got to be a record.
I think it is. I think it is.
Unbelievable.
Second place has like 4, and then there's like 0 after that.
But what is he fucking sleeping out there? Does he have sleep apnea? Somebody wake this man up.
And for someone like him too, frustrating. But that man hits better than half our team. But
yeah, that's true. That's why you can't even be half mad at him.
No. But he's trying to make things happen. I can see where I could see him going to a real winning team and being very much like locked in and not getting caught all the time. He's probably trying to make something happen. He's got the green light whenever, clearly, and it ain't working. But he had an at-bat against Jake McGee. Jake McGee throws 95% fastballs, and he just – VR was the 4th batter in that lineup because they had tied the game, right? They had a runner on, and he gets caught looking at a fastball.
It's crazy.
Inside middle. And I'm like, what are you looking for? Clearly he was guessing a slider, and it's like, no, man. Like, how can you get beat on it? Like, I'd rather you look like a fool on an off-speed than get beat looking like that, because that was bad.
Yeah, it's I mean, we could sit here all day and talk about the inefficiencies and the inconsistencies. And like I mean, they're 5-12 in August. That's 7 under, and that's because they won yesterday. I don't know how they pulled that one out, but they won. I mean, it's been the ultimate struggle here. And you know what's crazy is that they still have a chance. After all that they've been through, I saw a report today that Jacob deGrom will probably be shut down for the year. We've missed Lindor for a month and a half. Conforto is out for how many games? McNeil's been out for how many games and been awful? J.D. Davis missed half the season. Nimmo was out for a while. Like, if you tally it all up, and they still have a fighting chance. They're 500. They're right in it. So, like, am I sitting here today telling you, hey, they're going to win the World Series? No. But what I'm telling you is they got a chance at winning the division. The division. The last time they won the division was 2015. The last time before that had to be 2000, 2006.
Yeah, no, I know. And it doesn't feel like they have this chance at all, especially – given everything that's happened, and then the way that, with what Zach Scott has said about the team recently within the past couple of weeks.
How weird was that?
Yeah, we probably should have covered that a couple of weeks ago. It just completely slipped by us.
Yeah.
Saying that guys aren't really like in tune with following.
Hydrating, and then Stroman comes out the next day. He's like, yeah, I don't really like water. Like, okay, Odell Beckham, like, chill the fuck out.
He said that?
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah, I know. I didn't have any issues with Zach Scott saying that because when you watch the video, he didn't say it like in a mean way. He's like, these guys got to be more in tune and trust us with what we're doing. And, I kind of like that. I don't know. For me, the Sandy Cohen tweet,
Steve Cohen.
Oh, yeah. Sandy Cohen is on the OC.
This is not an OC podcast. That's your next one.
No, not an OC podcast. Steve Cohen tweeting about the lack of offensive productivity.
About this. I have a few takes on it.
Go ahead.
That was a fan tweet. Like, he was a fan right there.
The frustration, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, did he think he was on a burner account? Like, is this a Kevin Durant situation? Like, what's going on here?
I asked him if it was a DM.
He didn't answer, did he?
No.
Okay, good.
Like, did you mean to DM this to someone?
Yeah, like, it was very Mark Cuban-like to me, to like, because, Cuban's like, wears his emotions on his sleeves, and is like the ultimate, like, Mavs fan, And to me, that was like very much like, yeah, I'm an owner, and yeah, I have, X amount of $1 billion, but like, hey, I know what I'm talking about still too. And like, I'm a fan, I root for the team. Like, it's just hard. Like, I'm sure he feels the same way as us. Like, it's a little hard to watch right now,
Yeah. My only thing is this, and this goes back even further to about a month ago, when he tweeted out that he visited the guys in the clubhouse.
Yeah, in Philadelphia. Yeah.
After they were struggling again. The players don't care about an owner coming into the clubhouse.
No.
A lot of owners won't even meet their players. That's just a realistic, from what I've heard with players saying that, it's like, we don't care about like having the owner visible, and half the time we don't even see the owner at all. But if you want to be a hands-on guy like a Mark Cuban, you have to be there at all times. Even if we go on a 20-5 stretch, you should still probably be down there. So it's it doesn't set guys off, like, right. Especially like, young guys.
Here we must be doing bad.
Yeah, we have a lot of young guys still. People like fail to realize that. Like, a lot of guys on our team haven't even hit their first year of arbitration yet. You know what I mean? Like, so you have to keep that same energy when we're going well, and just go see how they're doing when you're going well. That too, right? And then it won't be as alarming, and it would make a little bit more sense. And don't tweet it out. You don't need to tell me that you're going to visit. I'm sure a media member will see you and put it out there anyway, so it's all good. But you don't have to say, hey, I just want to let you know I gave them a talk.
Yeah, so here's
they don't care about your talk when they're going low. When they're going bad, they don't care.
Right. Is Twitter like the right forum for him to be expressing his frustrations?
That's the other thing too. This tweet would have been way, way more normal and fine if it was October 1st and we were out of the playoffs, right? Because you evaluated the team just then, or you do it through a press conference. But that's how this tweet came about. Obviously, you're going to have to answer questions at the end of the season about it anyway. Why not just wait? No one's an idiot in that clubhouse. They know that there's a lot. They know that their OPS is low. I assure you that. The guys know their stats. I just think visiting behind the scenes a little bit more frequently and not doing it in a public manner would have gone a longer and a better way with.
And in his defense, I guess we don't know, if he is visiting in those positive or better, situations. I was just gonna say something. Oh yeah, it feels like a little bit like a good cop, bad cop vibe that we got going on. Like, Rojas can be good cop, and front office and Cohen can be bad cop, but I don't know. It just seems like I don't know if I like Twitter being the place for it.
I agree. Again, if he did it when we're the day after the season ends and we're out of it, it makes a lot more sense. Like, hey, we're really bad offensively. We're aware of this, and it's going to change going forward. We know what we need to improve on.
Yeah.
I think to bash guys, again, young guys, 40 games left, and even veterans too, they're going to be like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
You know, because like if players do think like that. If you haven't played at that level, then probably stay out.
You get out here and do it then, right?
Right. And that's another, like with Rojas, again, I will be bummed if they can him. And it depends. Like you can't go 5-30 to end the season, right? Yeah. You can't do that, right? I get it. But with what he's done, like we said, with the pitching, but also he's had a 4-man bench most of the season, which is bonkers. And he's done really well with being aggressive, but not like
how many times he's pinch hit like the backup catcher quite a few times, and it's like, other managers don't do that. And
I like that move.
Same. Even some of the pinch running situations that he's done earlier on in the year, where we got Lindor on second base in extras because of the obscurity and the rule that he was very much aware of. I think he's done a good job with the bullpen. I'm with you, man, but we still got 42 games left here. Let's see how it all unfolds. I'm just looking here at the schedule. So it's 4 more in LA and then a day off. You gotta hope and pray that they split here, right?
Yeah, that's all you can ask for realistically.
So that puts you at 38 games left. You go. It's a good homestand. 3 with the Giants, 1, 2, 3 with the Nats, and then 4 with Miami. One of those being a doubleheader. If you're playing, 7 games with the Nats and the Marlins, and we had this at the beginning of August, they got to make those 7 games count. They're going to have to really make up some ground.
You got to beat the shit out of them.
Yep. And then they go, and listen to this. This is where it gets even better. You ready? After the homestand, they go 5 games with the Nats in Washington, and then 3 more with Miami in Miami. So you got a 2-week stretch there where you're only playing the Nats and the Marlins. That's where, if they're going to make up ground, that's where it's going to have to be.
Yeah, if they don't take 4 out of the 7, every 7 that they play against those 2 teams.
It's probably got to have to be 5.
Yeah, it probably is. It probably is. They got to hit, man. They should be winning 12-5 every single one of those games.
Yep.
Again, I'm not confident
because if you want to get into the nitty gritty here too. Half of those games, even maybe a little more than half of those games, we're gonna have September call-ups too.
Yeah, which means especially for those teams, like they're gonna
those
be
teams are gonna be you're gonna be seeing guys. Yep. You're gonna be seeing some guys out there that you probably haven't heard of for those teams.
I see quadruple A pitchers, really. So if you don't take advantage of that, then you got to go.
But then they don't deserve it either. So,
right.
It's going to be an interesting. Let's get through. We're halfway through the Dodgers and Giants. Let's continue to get through that, and I think kind of go from there.
I love when we played the Giants, 9:45 Eastern, they're starting 6:45 their time. Why don't we start games at 6:45?
Yeah, I like the 6:45 too because
everyone's out of work. If you're not out of work at that point, you're working through the night.
It's got to be something with like commercial advertisement, sales, price. It's. We have done it before, but I know Atlanta does the 7:20. I can't stand that.
I don't get it. I really would love to know why. Even for me, I like 6:05. You know what I mean? Most people work a 9 to 5, so you're giving someone an hour to get back and put that TV on, watch while eating dinner. People are gonna do that, so I don't understand why there's not more of that. especially with if you got a travel day the next day for the players. I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes a little bit more
Yeah,
sense.
I like it. I like it a lot. What'd you think about the Giants jerseys that one day?
My buddy likes those.
Your buddy needs to get his eyes checked. Those things are hideous.
I forget what they call it, but they're all like the whiteouts, pretty much.
Yeah. Even the orange was a different orange.
Yeah, they've been wearing those all season. I don't really like those at all. What I do like is have you seen the Little League jerseys?
I have seen the Little League jerseys.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, they look good this year.
Pretty cool.
I'm not a huge fan of the Little League World Series, but I have seen the jerseys. Do you like it?
I think it's overrated. Like, I don't – people like get all amped up about it, and I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe I've just seen enough 12-year-olds throw in my day where it's like, I don't care.
I'm at the point where it's like I'd rather watch like Jets training camp than the Little League World Series. ESPN monetizes the shit out of that. Those kids see none of it. It's not cool.
You're right. But you know what is cool? I don't know if you saw glimpses of this. I saw highlights. Was the Field of Dreams game.
I loved that. That's what. First off, Field of Dreams, all-time movie. Secondly, Costner, my guy. Yellowstone's a top 5 show. If you haven't watched Yellowstone, watch Yellowstone. Dude, him walking out of the cornfields with like the big blue sky, and then the players coming out behind him. I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking sick. The sunset was awesome. By the way, production quality, ESPN, take fucking notes because Fox puts you on notice. Sunday Night Baseball is my taint. I can't stand it. Fox did an unbelievable job. Say what you want about Joe Buck. Smoltz is great. I thought Fox fucking killed it with that. Killed it.
Dude, it was incredible.
Ball was flying out of that park too.
It makes me want to go to that field. I've always wanted to go visit that field, but it makes me want to go to that field. I don't even care about watching the game, especially with tickets being so crazy priced there. I would love to just visit that cornfield one day. Like
remember when the Mets played? Did they do the thing at Williamsport? Like that was cool. Like we need the Major League Baseball should be doing more of this stuff, and like not just on an annual basis. It should happen like multiple times per year. I think I was texting you. I could have been texting somebody else where I was like, dude, cancel the All-Star game and just do a Field of Dreams game and have it like a Field of Dreams weekend. And like, that doesn't mean it's like the Yankees and the White Sox played one game there and then they played the other games in Chicago. You could fly 4 other teams in there that weekend and play there.
Yeah, and people have been saying that too. So I think it's something that's going to happen. They have a game scheduled next year already, but I think you're right. I think it's going to turn into a weekend at some point.
And like here's my comp would be what hockey does with playing in the baseball stadiums. Like that's sick. That's awesome. When hockey is the Winter Classics, I think they call it. Like people get excited about hockey mid-season because of that. I think we need to Major League Baseball should look into doing something more celebratory about the game in this sort of fashion, kind of like hockey has done with the Winter Classic.
No, so let's go off topic a little bit. Let's talk.
I like when we go off topic like this.
And we're not talking about the Mets, so we can be a little bit more upbeat. So this game, highest ranked game like on TV over the last 10 years for a baseball game.
Isn't that crazy?
It's got everyone thinking, what else could you do besides like, okay, have a weekend at Field of Dreams? What kind of
I got one.
Where else can you play a baseball game? Go ahead.
Call on me. Yes, hi. The answer, Trebek, would be you get the Marlins and you do a series in Puerto Rico or you do a series in the Dominican Republic.
That's good. I mean, they've done that before, right?
Could you go back to Montreal and play up in there? Like, NFL plays that game in Mexico City. They play in London. Why can't Major League Baseball can do this shit too? Like, let's go, guys. Come on.
Where can you build a baseball field that would like really be worth it? That has
if you build it, if you build it, they'll come.
That's what I'm saying. Like, build a field. Build a field. Where can you do that? Like, people are getting crazy with their answers. They want to field in the Grand Canyon.
No. No.
But there are some sick ass fields or sick areas that, like, you know, for example, like we talked about, like with the hockey in the stadiums, but also with what's it called? With the basketball played on the aircraft carrier a couple of years ago.
Yes. College basketball does that a lot, actually.
You know, like there's got to be something where you could have a baseball field in a cool ass area like that, and you just build on this, and like, you know, even if it's for a day or two, and you have a few teams come in, and you just have like almost like staggered doubleheaders.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
That's growing the game. What we're talking about.
For sure.
Doing stuff like that.
I'm trying to think. Like, you can't do Hawaii; it's too far.
Hawaii is far. That would be sick, though, right? But Puerto Rico, you could have some very scenic.
Well, do you remember when they did that? They did a game on like an army base. So it was the base that my brother was actually at, Craig, Fort Bragg. Do you remember that? I think it was Braves Marlins, I want to say. It was definitely the Braves. And we went there like a year and a half after the game, and like the stadium is just like covered in weeds. It was never upkept. It was like sad. So I really hope that doesn't happen with the Field of Dreams site. But yeah, I think they got to get creative with it, man. Like I don't have all the answers off the top of my head right now, but what I do know is that this worked, right? And if it worked, then like, okay, like get creative and you can try new things. Like, do you want to go back to Montreal and like see what the fans would be like there? Could the Nats do like a Montreal series?
That would be interesting, right? It would really be interesting.
What are some other things?
Well, we talk about like, you know, people have talked about Oakland A's going to Vegas. Maybe you just have some games out there.
What if they did like a Cooperstown game?
Yeah, Cooperstown is just like.
I know. It's Oneonta. You're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you're in the middle of nowhere. You have the one field, but it's not a nice field. It's not gonna pop on TV.
But you would have to build something new.
Right. Yeah, you got to make it look really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if you just did like, you had a baseball field in the middle, surrounded by a forest or something, right? Something like that.
But a lot of those, I will say, like a lot of those forests, like. You're going to get people that are like, don't cut our trees down. Like, how can you put a field in the middle? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's fair. We could think about it.
But so here's another thing, right? Remember, so the Miami Dolphins used to play, and the Miami, you know, it was when they were the Florida Marlins. They used to play at the same stadium, even the Coliseum, Oakland, the Raiders, and the A's, right? What if you did like a game at Lambeau Field?
That would be cool.
Or something like that. You know,
the only thing with that is like
game at Lambeau.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that'd be interesting, especially because like, I mean, you have the Milwaukee Brewers right there, but other than that.
Yeah, it's like an hour away.
Yeah. So you get a little bit of a different type of fan base. But yeah, if you had something where you're just making it more of an event than than just a game. That's what baseball needs to do. So
but like here's the thing, like they were very successful with this. So like don't stop. Like continue to be creative, continue to try to think outside the box and come up with these ideas. Like I said, like we don't have the best ideas in the world. We're just spitballing here, but we also don't get paid to do this for a living.
Yeah. No. I think if you just can somehow make a field on like near some kind of like national landmark or something, you're gonna get some.
They had like a Mount Rushmore game where they were like the outfield was just like, who are the four presidents? It's George Washington. Is it Abe Lincoln? Teddy Roosevelt. I'm gonna guess Thomas Jefferson. Is it Thomas Jefferson?
We'll go with that. I don't even know because if I looked at their faces, I still ain't gonna have.
Well, I nailed it. I got all four. I got all four. Yeah. Yeah, imagine that was like that was like center field. You just hit a home run and it like bounced off Washington's nose or some shit.
That'd
Like
actually be
that
pretty
scene,
wild.
like that scene in Richie Rich. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
So
That is.
we'll have to brainstorm. We'll have to come up with some other ideas.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's options. That's the thing. Like, keep going with this. You know, you just hope it doesn't get watered down too much. That's the only thing, is playing there over and over again. But it definitely like brings good business to Iowa.
Sure.
That's where we should have went. We should have just took a road trip when we were quarantined last year. Just went there.
We're going to Iowa, biatch.
Right? I mean, that would have been insane to go through those cornfields. But it was
the maize looked sick.
The TV production, though, like you said too. That's what
the drone footage was awesome. Yeah. Like, I mean, they really put ESPN on notice. Like, remember when Fox used to have like the Sunday midday game or the Saturday midday game, like the 4:00 game with McCarver and Joe Buck? Like, I used to love that. That was national game. They should bring that back.
And people complain about Joe Buck. It's weird. It's like, dude, that's how you know it's a big game, is when he's calling it.
Yep.
That plays into it too.
Job. I used to be one who was like, I don't really like him. He's kind of annoying. He's grown on me quite a bit. I think he's personable. I think he didn't used to be personable. I think he's personable now.
Yeah, and it's a big game whenever he calls it. That's when know.
And you know what? You can say the same about Smoltzy too.
Yeah, because he's been doing the World Series the last 4 or 5 years now at this point.
Whenever it's on Fox, yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought it was good, and something to look forward to in the middle of the summer.
Definitely. All right, you got anything else?
No.
Me either, man. I hope we can split with the Dodgers, come home, see what happens with the Giants, and then bring on the Nats and bring on the Fish. We're gonna have to start heating up here down the stretch. But that's why that stretch is the only thing that's giving me a little bit of hope.
Yeah, that's all we got.
Yep.
All we got. Because if you don't do that, and we know what this team is.
And I know the Braves have a tough stretch, and the Phillies, the fans that I was with, at least 5 or 6 of them. They were like, "We have no shot at winning the division." And like, these guys suck. They had one good week. They're like, "Don't worry, it's all yours." Then you look at Atlanta, it's like, they got hot too. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, man. That's another episode of the LFGM podcast. You can put it in the books.